Good evening everyone, welcome to the HJ Plant Repairs sponsored Auspro Sim Series for round 1, leg 2. We are headed into the Americas and no better place to start this than at Road Atlanta. Yes, one of my favourite circuits and certainly one that I'm excited to see tonight. I've got a fair few changes before we head into the program tonight in terms of the way the series is being run. So you might see on the screen at the moment the Petronas sponsored Porsche GTE there. We're on board with Dennis Kataric. And yes, that's right, we've made a switch. We've gone from the GT1s to the GT3s here. Sorry, I should say, we've gone from the GT1s to the GTEs even here in the Oz Pro-Am Sim Series. And what we're looking forward to seeing here is a fairly good mix of field, actually. We've got a fair number of BMWs, the Porsche always popular as well, and the new Corvette introduced into iRacing. What seems now like an eternity ago, but I believe it was really only the last big release ago. We've got another one coming up on the weekend, which will make some changes. One of the new circuits coming as well that will jump into the calendar here on Auspass. And looking forward to all of that coming up over the next hour or so. We've got 2 races as usual tonight. Return to our standard format for the first round of the second leg, with our usual 25-minute race first up, followed by a 45-minute reverse grid race. We'll probably finish this race close to darkness. So this is an endurance circuit, as it is known. They run it what's called Petit Le Mans from here. So the American version of Le Mans. Just a much shorter version, and it does form part of a 3-leg endurance series that they run in the States out of here, the Daytona 24-hour, and also running at Sebring. So just looking at this here, it's about a 4K long circuit. Believe it or not, it's actually classified as a street circuit. 2 alternative tracks. We're running on the full-length version, and certainly a couple of hairy points in it for the drivers to contest with. Thanks very much for the like there, Tom. Good luck in the race tonight. Currently sitting second fastest in official practice. So as you can see, Dennis here getting up over the crest here. The car gets a little bit light here, so you've got to be careful where you position it, because this corner here, if you get it wrong, you can easily run straight ahead there through the S's. Then we head down through the chicane, through the S's I should say, before we get to segment of the track where you've got to use as much of the runoff as you can to get through there quickly and onto a couple of the longer straight sections of this circuit. Entering into pit lane is a little bit scary as well, so the drivers are going to have to be careful not to get a speeding infringement. You actually come downhill as you enter into pit lane. So it can be very easy for you to run wide or to not get the car pulled up in time. As we jump on board with Josh Perlin as well. He is piloting the M8 BMW, lovingly known as Big Bertha. G'day Stewie, thanks for jumping in, mate. I hope you're well. As we just see the M8 there go cruising straight across through the view of the rather suspect looking crowd and just avoid running into the wall there. Lots of new drivers as well. First of those is Martin Crisp. He's actually running in the Corvette, listed as one of our internationals joining us from Canada. And I'm really interested to see how this Corvette goes. Of course, in the real world, dominating just about everything in GT racing this season. So, of course, it is a rear-mounted engined Corvette, the first of its kind. And they got it. Looks like they got it right in the drawing room with the car dominating on track. Let's see if it is the same here. I have driven the car, and I can tell you it's very, very easy to drive. Reminds me a lot of the Audi in the GT3 category in terms of just getting in. Once you get the gearing right, you sort of just get into the sort of Sunday driving cruise mode when you're getting around in the racetrack, which can be a good or a bad thing, but it is a very comfortable car to drive. So we'll see how it performs currently. Martin sitting in 5th in the first of those Corvettes. And, of course, welcome him to the series. Another one as well here, Gordon Irons. So you just see him coming down the hill there. Gordon joins the series this evening as well in the Big Bertha M8 BMW. Very, very consistent car. That did receive a small parity adjustment in the last iRacing update as well. And not that it needed it, to be brutally honest. The M8 and a lot of the longer format races that I've kept an eye on performing extremely well on iRacing. It's very economical for what it is, and seems to wear its tyres quite well as well. So not really a factor in tonight's race. There will be a pit stop required in the reverse grid race, and potentially as well actually in the first race as well, even though it is only 25 laps. Dylan Bennett, another newcomer to the series tonight, again running in the M8. Excuse me, as I'm just having a little coughing fit there. Didn't share that with you, but joining the series tonight in the M8 as well. Struggling a little bit through there. He won't thank us for showing that on the screen as he just runs a little bit wide. And we've also got Mike Casey currently in pit lane. He is another newcomer. Usual suspects as well. Luke Bergens joining us for leg 2. He's currently in pit lane. Tom Katsadonis as well. Matty Cartaleone back in black as well. And a couple missing too tonight from the Bergens team camp. So not too sure where the rest of his team is, but we'll see them potentially come through as this season progresses. So it looks like we're going to have a really solid field here of around about 22 cars on track for round 1, leg 2. As the BMW gets a lot of air there and uses just about all of the room in the shock absorbers to make sure that it stays planted on the ground. So as I said, this is a new championship again. So the leg 1 was run and won. We're here now, having finished in Europe, in the Americas, and of course finishing in Asia, or we'll call it Australasia, in leg 3 of the season. So we've got 4 rounds throughout the US. And the new track that's coming that I was mentioning earlier, or alluding to earlier in the broadcast, is actually Long Beach. So just a little bit of brief history about iRacing. iRacing's actually spawned out of a game that I certainly used to play when I was a kid, an IndyCar game. And the very first track actually that IndyCar game had that I recall was Long Beach. So they've recreated that circuit. That's being released, and that will join this calendar. So out of the Papayas series, and I'm not sure if Reese Ashmore is watching tonight, but I can tell you there is a Turismo Blue M8 BMW in the audience that I know he would be very much interested to have a look at. I'm trying to find out who's driving that, in fact, because I've only seen him run that Turismo Blue livery before, so perhaps someone's jumped on board with that, as we're on board with Simon Lada, who had a really good run at Watkins Glen last week when we had the wildcard series, actually finishing on the podium. So a good run for him. In fact, just running at the front of the pack as well in the reverse grid race. Before that one just slightly got away from him. It was full of it. This was just see him jump into pit lane here. So as you can see, we're talking about the downhill entry. So we'll catch drivers out. Certainly did during the 10-hour race on iRacing here that we participated in. Not us, fortunately, but certainly did catch some out. So we'll keep an eye on that. So don't be too surprised if you do see some speeding infringements in pit lane. As Simon jumps back out again onto track. Just having a look if any of our new drivers. Lee Harrison joins us as well in a third Corvette. So he's yet to make his way out on track. BJ Kennedy returns for leg 2. Season 2, of course, we are in. Just trying to get a measure on the times here. Minute 15. 1:30 for Luke Bergens, fastest so far. He's running a Porsche. Porsche's filling out the top 3 positions. Josh Perwin fastest in the BMWs in position 4, and then we've got Martin Crisp still fastest in the Corvette. To do a little bit of onboard with the Corvette just to see what that looks like and sounds like. I'm imagining that it will sound brilliant. Great looking livery that from BJ Kennedy as well, actually. So he's just run off into the tyre barrier there. Can be a little tricky to get used to this track, but once you get it down, it's quite a fun place to run at. And traffic is going to be an issue as well, as we're on board with Sam Lehman, one of the series administrators, running the 93 PC livery. Yeah, 30 seconds to go, then we're going to jump into qualifying for tonight's round. We've got a 10-minute qualifying session, so it will be frantic. Yeah, on board now with Lee Harrison as the session comes to an end, running the Tide livery on that Corvette. It's a little Ferrari looking, but certainly no confusing it. It is a Corvette. Okay, so we've got open qualifying here, so it's going to be about green and purple sectors is what we're looking for. Everyone is going to try and get out on track at the same time, and you can see there Luke Bergens jumping out and trying to get away. It's about getting out and getting track position. Matty Cardelloni right behind him, Tom Katsadonis right behind him, Josh Perwin right behind him, so they're going to want to get these laps in early, get a banker lap in. It's very easy to get an off track at this circuit. Not quite as easy as it is at Spa, but probably borderline. You can run right here. Really crucial part of the circuit. Get a really good exit for the run up the long back straight. See there the car's 4 wide trying to get advantage. It's not really an advantage to get out in front here. So an interesting move from Katsuno's is going to be a hot and fast qualifying session. Getting on the brakes there at around about 100. Getting the car turned in nice and early. Use as much as you can of the curbing and get out wide. You're looking to drive straight under the centre of that bridge. And then you can flow the car down here and get the lap underway. It will be Luke Bergens leading us across the line for the first qualifying lap. So there'll be plenty of green, plenty of purple. Get the car turned in, get a good run up the hill. You've got to try and get the car into the middle of the track to get the turn in right for the chicane. Use more of the curb as you can down through the S's. And it's all about curb management here. Wanting to make sure you don't clip the entry curb there, but you get out nice and wide and use as much of that curb as possible to keep the car on the track. Sounds a little bit funny, but the curbing does help. Through here, get the car turned in nice and early and get on the gas as early as you can to maximise your speed down this back straight. It's a really good little technical circuit. Not too similar really to anything in Australia in terms of comparing it, even as a street circuit. I did actually only find out that it was, thanks for the like there, Sven. I did only find out that it was a road circuit tonight when I was doing some research on the track. Certainly doesn't look like a road circuit at all, so I don't know if that's something, it's classified as a road circuit, but really it's not. Maybe some small portion of the track is used as a road during the year, kind of like Albert Park in Victoria. So Luke Bergens first across the line, 15.83, 15.86 for Cardelloni, 15.89 for Katsadonis. So there is 6/100ths of a second between our top 3 qualifiers at the moment. and it was a little bump there on the curb that's upset Bergens, so he is going to want to try and get around and get some clear track again. Just an off track here. Looks like a little bit of damage as well to Cartaleone's Porsche. So Tom Katsadonis is the only one through with a full send team Porsche livery on that RSR. It is furious at the front. It's about getting in a clean lap as well, just to get that banker in. The real problem for the faster guys here is going to be traffic management. With the laps only around a minute long, it is going to be possible for cars to get lapped. And the start of the race, particularly going up the hill into turn 1, even though it's a rolling start. So coming through this next section is going to be something that the drivers are going to have to be really aware of to make sure they negotiate it. Remembering that the race is 25 minutes long. The first one, reverse grid following that. But you really want to get through the chicane without ending up off track, or worst case scenario with a bent car. There's plenty of runoff there as well to avoid it. There's a big slide there. Great catch from Katsadonis and his way down the hill. He's actually moved himself up into second place with that last lap with a 15.84 against Bergens 15.83. So very, very close indeed at the front. Excited for this race tonight. It's going to be action-packed. So let's have a look a little bit further back down the field at drivers on hot laps. Josh Perwin's put in a couple. He's right behind. Put in a purple sector as well. Might have used a little bit too much curb there going through the chicane at the end of the lap. So he's just dropped out. And back on track now. And what's he done there? His last lap around is a 15.94, so not quite good enough to move himself up a position. Thanks very much for the like there, Sonu. Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. So we've got 4 minutes to go here. And Hanim, appreciate it as well. Welcome to the stream. And we've got 4 minutes to go. Lots of curb being used there. It can get really out of shape through there if you're not careful. On board now with Sam Lehman as he comes down through the S's. Keeping an eye out for purple sectors. Actually, Josh Perwin put in a purple sector, and Luke Bergens as well. So Bergens has just slightly improved. No, he's actually smashed his lap now. He's done a 15.49. And now moves comfortably into pole position at this stage. Katsadonis still out on track. No green or purple sectors, however, so not going to alter the order at this stage. So Gordon Irons has a big slide there across the top. Dylan Bennett just getting used to the M8 here and the track. With Matty Johnson, another one of the Corvette drivers. I haven't actually had a chance to drive the Corvette around Road Atlanta, so I'm not too sure how it handles in comparison. Particularly the curbing here is quite aggressive, so you've just got to be aware. Some you can use, some you can't. You've really got to make sure you know where to go, as Bergens goes faster again, so he has definitely locked up pole position. He's now 4/10 faster than Tom Katsadonis, right behind him. And I can tell you, it's a big bunch in the middle. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers within 2/10 of one another. So, start of this race is going to be frantic. It's going to be busy, so make sure you stick around. Thanks very much for the like there, Ashutosh. Appreciate it. Let us know if you're on the stream who you're following. If you're following anyone, what your favourite car is, whether or not you've driven around Road Atlanta or even been to the real circuit. Certainly haven't So I can imagine a 10-hour race there would be really cool to watch. Plenty of good vantage points around the track as well. Sam Lehman looks to improve his time, 16.62. Currently on par with Lee Harrison, who also has put in a 16.62. His last lap around there, I'd say he went off track. Long way down on his fastest. As it's still tight at the front. 10th between Katsudonis, Cardaleone. Only a few tenths back to Perwin as well. Once when we get into the 17s, and Hayden Jackson running the Bend Motorsport Park livery there. Put together by Frank Kodak, wherever you are, Frank, I hope you're well. One of the best, as he's just had a big slide there. Got a little bit too much curb. One of the best iRacing liveries I reckon I have seen anyone put together, that one there. With that triangular checker pattern on it. Bend Motorsport Park, of course, a fantastic facility in the outer suburbs. We'll call it the outer suburbs to be generous, of Adelaide. In fact, the Bend, probably about an hour from Adelaide. Through the Adelaide Hills, I believe, and then out to the track. But if you are in Adelaide, it's worthwhile making your way out to the track. If for nothing else, the Motorsport, I don't know what they call it, whether they call it a museum, but the Motorsport display they've got in the foyer there is absolutely unbelievable. I don't know. I haven't been to the Motorsport Museum at Bathurst, but I'm going to say that it rivals it for interesting cars, particularly not only Australian cars, but for stuff from all over the world. As you just see there, I think Sam Patel probably got a little bit too quick into pit lane, and as I've said before, it's going to be something they're going to need to watch out for tonight. So who have we got out on track? No one, as the session flags, and that is it. Hey Matty, good mate. I hope you're well. Should get some of the NSR boys in on this one, I reckon, as we're getting ready to go green. Hope you guys are doing well with a very, very rapidly expanding team there at NSR. And plenty to come, no doubt, for you guys in 2021. Looking forward to having you back in AEE when we get that up and running again next year. So it's a pretty short run here to the green flag. We're just before the chicane as they then come up over the crest of the hill, back down onto the front straight. So it's going to be a very short run up. And as I said, you're looking really to make sure that you're in a good position going over the top and down into the S's. That's probably where all the excitement will come from on this first lap. And if not, down into this part here. Obviously probably the heaviest braking zone on the track as you're coming down into the hill. Downhill, around about 100, 120 metres, you're on the anchors trying to get the car pulled up and turn in to get the run back up over the crest of the hill. So plenty to watch for. So don't go anywhere. This one's going to be a rip-up on FGM ECast. And certainly looking forward to getting you guys back involved as well, Matty. So we're just waiting here for the car to set off. It is a 25-minute race. Not too sure what we're expecting in terms of pit strategy here, if there will be any. I don't believe that we should need a pit stop. There will be a stop in the second race tonight, reverse grid. So that factors in as well for the drivers. It's going to be Bergens, Katsudonis, Perwin, Cardaleone, Chris Gatarik, Nicholson, Webster, Lehman, and Harrison as your top 10 from qualifying. And we're waiting for the light to go green. We've gone early, and there's already a car off there with a huge flip in the background. I think that may have been Sam Thurtell. I'm not too sure as we go up over the top of the hill, and we are up and running. Got to be careful in through here. It's every chance that there's going to be some action. Driver's doing pretty well as we get down through the S's to keep it clean. Have to keep an eye out on what happened down in the back there, but that was a huge crash. That was actually Mike Casey that went off That car will require a tow. Drivers do get a fast repair tonight, so he should get back out on track. But the tow's going to cost him. He'll be laps down. I believe as well Sam Thurtell may have gone off in the background. So we've got Bergens, Cardleone, Purwin, Katsadonis, Guitaric, and Crisp all in this lead pack. It's going to spread reasonably well, I think, for the first time down into the chicane here. A little bit of drafting going on. Purwin's got a good start. He's up one. Cardleone got a good start as well. He's up one. Katsadonis, the one who has suffered from that. As we head around to complete our first lap here at Road Atlanta, thanks to HJ Plant Repairs, series partner for the Auspro Sim Series from the start. Got a little bit of a gap developing. There is an absolutely massive pack of cars here coming down main straight, getting into turn one. Oh, there's run wide there. Oh, that's going to be no good. Schweikert's going to get the wall, is he? Oh, just tagged the back corner of the car. Looks like Brady Buchanan may have also followed him off into the weeds there. So it can be a difficult track. Once you get hold of the track, it's a really fun place to race, but it's very, very easy to penalise you. Lots of concrete around, lots of grass to help you get there. So we're on board now with Luke Bergens, who himself has had an off and is now running down in 9th position, but watch for him to make his way back up through the pack. That puts Matty Cardleone in the lead. Something that we started to grow a little bit accustomed to towards the end of last season. So Matty will be out here and he will battle and get the elbows out wide. He, I think it was either Spa or at Le Mans, he was very, very competitive in the GT1s. And Josh Purwin in that big bustling BMW. He's got the lights flashing away. Turismo blue BMW's trying to stick the nose down there. You've got to be a lot further up to try and get it done through there. But he'll keep the pressure on as we get up over the crest of the hill. Get prepared to get into the S's. Really no massive amount of strength and weakness difference between these cars in short racing, in my opinion. Just in the Enduros, the BMW is a really good package. It's been developed well by iRacing in terms of parity. Defending here, Cardleone down the inside just to make sure that Purwin can't get a run on. He was trying to do it down there. Really needs to set himself up into the braking zone down at the end of this back straight. So watch for it here. Don't be too surprised if we end up 4 wide before we get some order and head down into the braking zone to complete another lap. The chicane to negotiate before we get there. The big booming BMW pulls out wide. Purwin's going to try and get the job done here down in the braking zone. I think he's going to pull it off. He is, yeah, just plenty of room there. Well done from Cardleone. Katsadonis trying to take advantage as well. He's probably going to get the job done, is he? He's got the advantage down the inside, just not quite able to keep him out there. And Cardleone shuts the door, but plenty of grass being cut there as well. But Katsadonis, he thinks he can get down the inside here into turn one. No, not quite enough room. Forces Cardleone a little wide. Plenty of track being used by Josh Purwin there in the BMW. Just a little squirm under brakes, struggling to get it pulled up. So we head down yet again into the S's. One of the best sets of corners in World Motorsport, in my opinion. As I think there you just saw it was, yeah, Katsadonis running wide. So that moves Dennis Guitaric up into 3rd position. So Purwin there getting a little bit of a gap, half a second up, heading down. Oh, it's a big spin and slide from Matty Cardleone there. Managing to avoid everyone and get the Porsche back going again, but that means he's dropped down now into 5th. So mistakes galore in this early part of the race. And that gives Purwin a nice little 1 second gap over Dennis Guitaric, who is involved in the battle for 2nd and 3rd with Tom Katsadonis. Martin Crisp just in the Corvette, just off in the distance, ready to pounce if anyone makes another mistake. Katsadonis, you can see there down the inside. Good racing. Oh, as he nearly cuts the nose off the front of the Guitaric Porsche there, Katsadonis, but plenty of racing room given. Job done. So he's now up into 2nd place and in pursuit of Josh Purwin. We've still got a few battles raging through the field here. Daniel Webster, Lee Harrison, Welcome to the series, Lee. He's getting involved in the tied liveried Corvette. Behind him as well is Luke Bergens, coming back through the field as fast as he can. He's the fastest man on track last time around with a 15.7. That typical blue that Daniel Webster runs. Racing Images car, always well presented, always looks ripping on just about any of the cars Daniel has run. Of course, we've seen him in the Mercedes last season. He was running the Aston Martin in leg 1 as we made our way through Europe. Now choosing to run something a little bit more Bavarian. As the Porsche of Bergens makes the move down the inside through the chicane, gets the job done and moves up into 6th. So this is going to be quite a charge from him. Expect to see him back up to the front of the pack as Lee Bergens makes his way past Lee Harrison and up into 7th position. Jump a little bit further back here. Jeff Wang under threat from Sam Lehman. Mike Casey back out on track after that early incident as well. It's got the dual 93 PC cars here. A little bit wide there. Can be quite dangerous out there if you get too far wide. Battling still a little bit further back. A little bit of a bent wing on the back there for Thurtell. He's out of... Oh, wow, that was very, very well done to avoid Justin Schweikert coming through. We've got a little bit further back, Hayden Jackson in the Ben Motorsport liveried Porsche. Dylan Bennett still making his way around the track, just getting some experience in the car. A little bit of damage to the left-hand front corner of that one. Brady Buchanan in the M&M Porsche entry. And then we do also have Mike Casey here, who unfortunately succumbed on lap 1 to a reasonably solid hit that ended up giving him a flip. So he went for a ride, but it is Josh Perwin still out in front. Lead's diminished a little bit here. Tom Katsadonis just cutting it under a second now. It's at 0.8. So just closing ever so slightly. Porsche probably a little bit stronger through the S's and the chicanes than the big bad bustling M8 BMW. Said it plenty of times on the stream. If you ever see one of them in real life, go and have a look. I've had the privilege of jumping into one. And I can tell you, when you start them up and fire the M8 up, it sounds unbelievable. So if you ever get the opportunity to have a look at one and sit inside, very well appointed. But as they should be, given the price tag, which would make your eyes water. So interesting to see the different lines of drivers take there going up through the hill. A lot of them try and get as wide as they can, using as much of that pit exit as possible to make the turn in easier. But Perwin looking pretty comfortable at the moment. Sam Lehman and Jeff Wang fighting it out as well. Still, you can see here between the three of them now, it's a three-way battle. Simon Nicholson joining the fray. Running a little bit wide there, made him susceptible. And Simon Nicholson has moved up into 14th. He'll be a little bit dirty. He's down 7 spots from his qualifying position. And at this stage, it looks very much like Mike Casey and Brady Buchanan will be on the front row of the grid for race 2. Our 45-minute race coming up straight after this one. Best small warm-up in between. Might even try and grab hold of Sam Lehman during the race. Won't grab hold of him after the race. Won't grab hold of him now. Is in the heat of battle. Speaking of which, Luke Bergens now, for those watching, up into 6th position. And as was our pole sitter in the Porsche, he's now setting his sights on Martin Crisp, getting his way around that Corvette. Just had a small bump on the left-hand front corner of that car there, so I'd say that Bergens just ran wide in the Porsche. And that's what moved him out of the lead. Thanks for joining us, Loadsy. Yeah, Dennis is doing a great job. He's currently sitting in 3rd position, up 2 spots from his qualifying position in 5th. And just lost a little bit of touch there with Katsadonis in front of him, and Carleone is bearing down on him. Tell you, last lap around was the fastest lap of the race. Thanks for the like, Turtle Trust. Appreciate it. Even it's the end of a long day of talking, and I'm still got probably about another hour worth of talking to do. So you'll have to excuse me for the occasional slip up. We wish you were out there running as well. Sucks that you've got to work tonight. Not able to get in. Actually, we've still got a few of the usual suspects missing from the race tonight. Yeah, I figured, mate. Thanks for tuning in. I did say that you were going to be missing tonight because you had to work again. So, for those of you not so sure, Trent Laves is the man in the chat at the moment, who unfortunately isn't on tonight. He is working, but if only we could all make money sim racing so that we didn't need to go to work anymore. I think that'd make a lot of us happy. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's becoming more and more a likely possibility that people can do sim racing as a livelihood. Jack and Glenn Boyd missing from the action tonight as well. It's unusual now, 2 weeks in a row. Actually, we haven't seen them out on track. Hope everything is well in the Boyd camp. I do miss them not being out here. Hopefully they'll get back into the series sometime soon. Bit of a hold up there for Katsadonis, who has now assumed the lead of this race. These guys will need to keep going. In fact, Luke Bergens as well up into 4th now. He is about to start hassling Matty Carleone to jump into 3rd position on the podium. Matty was leading the race a little bit earlier on. A big slide which cost him some time. Wasn't a bad race last week, the 87 NASCAR run. There was plenty of cars off, so tried to make their way around Watkins Glen. The guy's not used to the brakes so much, so, but it wasn't a bad one from a viewer's perspective. Ann's car do put on an 87 series that we were lucky enough to broadcast, which is mainly oval, but they did finish it off at Watkins Glen earlier this year, so it was good to be able to broadcast that. I sort of had an idea of what was going to come. Just jump onto the Ann's car Facebook page. And you can grab some info there. I'm sure they'll be doing another series next season. I haven't got the official word on that yet. We will be broadcasting their truck series in 2021, which I'm looking forward to. And hopefully they do it. It wasn't as well supported as they probably would have liked, but it was good fun. So I want to keep spreading the love on that one to get that series up and going, because I love those cars. And they're a bit brutal to race, which was I think what I enjoy about them a bit more than anything else. So Bergens has fallen away a little bit off the back of Cardelloni here. There's Johnson and Nicholson go at it. This is the battle for 12th and 13th position. Yeah, they're reasonably softly set up, those NASCARs, so you can certainly have a bit of fun in them. They did at the end of the race last week as well. So you think Bergens might have a go here at Cardelloni. Might not be quite close enough. He'll get the advantage of the draft, but he won't be close enough at the end here, I wouldn't think. So this one will heat up. Probably up over the top or down through the S's. 7 minutes to go here. So round about 6 laps. And Bergens right up on the back of Cardelloni now. You can see him here up as we head up over the top of the hill. He's getting set up for the run down through the S's to make sure he is hot on the heels of Cardelloni. Cardelloni a little bit wide there. Still managing to get the job done. Want to get a good exit out of here. And he does just that. Just to maintain the gap. But you'll see here Bergens will be looking to set him up for the chicane at the end there, off on the inside. I believe that was Brady Buchanan. So watch here and see what happens. But I'm tipping that there's going to be an attempt made down into this chicane. We'll use the draft here to close right up on the back of Cardelloni. Oh, it's under the pressure. Cardelloni's got the wiggles on. And the red wiggle comes charging through. So Bergens now up into third. He's got a 5-second gap to make up to Josh Perwin in front of him. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get that done with 5 minutes to go. Around about half a second lap differential between Perwin and Bergens. So in fact you can see there the gap has opened up, but what has closed up is the gap at the front. So we've got Katsadonis and Josh Perwin now within half a second of one another. It's definitely a full race, this one. It's not really anywhere for the driver to rest. So the 45-minute reverse grid race should be an interesting one to watch. So stick around for that. Coming up next. Simon Larter and Brady Buchanan are in pit lane. Tell Bennett Casey a lap down. Big flash of the headlights there for Katsadonis. He's miles away from Hayden Jackson, but just making sure he's aware that the lead is coming. The gap between Katsadonis and Perwin's just stabilised a little bit. Bergens still just under 6 seconds out behind this battle at the front. It's Harrick and Crisp getting closer to battling away, along with Matty Carleone. So this is where the action's at now in the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th. So spaced out a little bit further back. It looks like we're going to have Brady Buchanan and Simon Larter on the front row for the reverse grid race. You can see there Carleone pulling out behind Martin Crisp, my apologies, and getting the move done. So he'll now be trying to apply some pressure to the back of Guitaric if he can get hold of him. So there's only going to be 2 laps to go at the end of this one. Well, obviously about where the race leader is, he's already started this lap, so there will be one more lap after this. Look at the white flag next time around. Gap's just spread a little bit further to Perwin, so it looks like he's going to have to settle for second. This Katsadonis puts a foot wrong. Good job from these two to be fairly stable at the front of the field. And of course, Luke Bergens driving back from 9th position early on in the race. It looks like he's going to finish in 3rd for this first race of the evening. This will be the last lap. Gap's closed ever so slightly, but I don't think it's going to be enough for Perwin to get the job done. So it is going to be Katsadonis who takes the win. It's going to be Porsche, BMW, Porsche. And a great result there for Tom Katsadonis. Up 1 spot from the front row to end the race in the lead. As we bring this one through, we will show you the results from race 1. When they are available. Just waiting for the rest of the field to finish the first one. So that's it done. So we're going to have a reverse grid race coming up in around about 10 minutes time. That will certainly sort them out with the run through from the back to the front of the field. course, Luke Bergens just showing that it's able to be done. He managed to get his way up into third position just before the conclusion of the race. About a lap and a half to go, 2 laps to go. So we're just waiting for everyone to finish here. We'll bring you the results from that first race. So it was Tom Katsononis and Josh Perwin. Luke Bergens making up our podium. We've got Dennis Katarik, Daniel Webster, Martin Crisp, BJ Kennedy, Matty Cartaleone unfortunately ended up finishing in 8th with Gordon Irons and Simon Nicholson rounding out our top 10. Then got Matty P. Johnson, Lee Harrison, Sam Lehman, Justin Schweikert, Jeffrey Wang, Hayden Jackson, Sam Suttel, and Dylan Bennett rounding out the results from that one. Mike Casey, Simon Larder not finishing, nor Brady Buchanan. So they will form up at the front of our grid for race 2, the main race for this evening. For the HJ Plant Repairs Oz Pro Am Sim Series brought to you by FGM ECast. Of course, your E-Place for Pace, you know where you are. A little bit of practice here for Martin Crisp. He's out on track. So just going to leave you with that for a moment. And we will be back in a couple of minutes to get involved in the feature race for our program tonight on FGM ECast. And we're back here, just with the tail end of warm-up. A bit to go there. You could hear that car, Aiden Jackson's just bottoming out there on its way. Not ideal at all. So just waiting for warm-up to finish now. And get into our main feature race for tonight. Good time for us to mention all the sponsors that support us and the series. Got HJ Plant Repairs, the main series sponsor of this series. See Matty Carleone there take a shortcut at the end of warm-up, and then a big crash between Lata, I should say, and someone else who didn't quite get to see there. So warm-up just concluding now. So I'll bring up the grid on the screen here for the feature race. It is reverse grid, so Brady Buchanan, Simon Lata at the front of the field, Mike Casey, Dylan Bennett off row 2, Sam Thurtell, Hayden Jackson off row 3 with Jeffrey Wang, Justin Schweikert off row 4. Then it's on to Sam Lehman and Lee Harrison off row 5 with Matty P. Johnson and Simon Nicholson off row 6. As we head a little bit further back through the grid, row 7, we have Gordon Irons and Matty Carleone, who'll be looking to make a move from there. BJ Kennedy, Martin Crisp off the next row with Daniel Webster, Dennis Gatarik, Luke Bergens, Josh Perwin and Tom Katsadonis right at the back of the field. So watch for them to come sprinting through as we get this reverse grid race underway. This one's going to be plenty of action. And yeah, absolutely, Zenos. He had a ripper and got it done. So let's see how we go into the main race tonight, race 2, whatever you want to call it, our 45-minute feature race. There'll be a pit stop through this one as well. So we've got a couple of gaps on the grid too. So let's get this run and won. Plenty of love for Katsadonis in the audience too. Thanks for tuning in, guys and girls. Very much appreciated. As we're going to come around, it's going to be these who will take us through. Waiting for the green to go, and there we go. We're off and running. It's going to be lots of action. Oh, we're 3 wide already. Plenty of bumping happening in mid-pack. We're going to try and stay a little bit further back. The field focused just for the start here, just to see if we can catch anything, if there is anything going on, of course. As we get up through the field, it's very, very congested. And there was a stationary car there. I think it might have been Brady Buchanan stuck in the middle of the road. Looks like everyone else got through there safely though. Jumping around a little bit now. Let's jump on with our race leader, Simon Lata, getting a good start. He had a good, strong run last week in the reverse grid race as well, in the 87s. Those reverse grid races are actually really good. Gives us plenty of variety. Gives everyone a good showing as well, which we like to see. And Simon defended his position quite well, actually, last week in that reverse grid race. And we're looking to do the same again here. Hayden Jackson getting a good start as well. Simon Nicholson, good start too. So they're broken away from the pack a little bit. A couple of seconds out from Sam Thurtell, Justin Schweikert. It's going to be Sam Lehman, Matty Carleone, Lee Harrison, Gordon Irons, BJ Kennedy rounding out our top 10. Carleone puts the pressure on the back of Sam Lehman. We need to be a little bit patient here, particularly down through the S is not an ideal place for you to try and get anything done, other than paint exchanged and potentially race over. Dylan Bennett ran wide. Made his way back onto the track. Too wide here. Down to the back portion of the circuit. Carleone trying to go the long way around Sam Lehman in the ascendancy there. There'll be a drag race now on up the back straight. Wait for this to be 3 or 4 wide by the time we get down into the final chicane. So heading up to be 3 wide. Carleone on the outside. Lehman. Carleone going to get through 2 here. Great move there for him. With Thurtell a little bit out wide. And unfortunately suffering there a couple of spots. Luke Bergens coming through, charging through the middle of the pack there. Out of nowhere, he is already up to 8th and whopping 11 spots up. A cracking start for him to get up that far this early. Tom Katsadonis as well, up 10 spots in the Just Send It Porsche, or Full Send Porsche I should say. But the leading pack has broken away now. Simon Nicholson 5 seconds up the road from this pack of vultures behind them. They will need to try and keep that gap up for as long as possible. Flash of the headlights from Carleone. Unbelievably, 5 minutes has already gone by in this one. Carleone trying to get his way past Schweikert. He's going to have to be a little bit patient there, but he's also got Luke Bergens hot on his heels, so he's going to be feeling the pressure of trying to get the move done. Hayden Jackson a little bit further up the road, just in the front of the picture there. Sam Lehman, Tom Katsadonis also making his way through up into 13 spots into 8th. Schweikert will need to make that Porsche of his as wide as he can. Defending there, Carleone. Katsadonis gets the job done, so he moves up behind Bergens. He's got 3 of our quicker drivers on track in a chain now, trying to make their way through the field. Starting to get a little bit held up here by Schweikert. Not in the bad sense, he's doing a great job, but just not quite able to find a way by it. Last time around, both drivers very close on lap times. 16.4 for Carleone, 16.9 for Schweikert. As the dusk starts to set in. Oh, it's Carleone. He's grabbed that curb. It's vicious. And it will send the car wide, and does just that. So Luke Bergens now assumes the challenge, chasing down Schweikert. The curb there is very, very aggressive. You do not want to hit it, particularly in the Porsche. Unfortunately, that's cost Carleone a few spots. But he'll be back. He's down to 7th at the moment. Still a whopping 7 spots up on his starting position. Martin Crisp in the same position. Katsadonis, Bergens 14 and 15 up respectively. Simon Nicholson now in the lead of this race in his BMW for XRC Racing, taking over the lead from Simon Lata. So 11 spots up. Another good performance early on. Too sure what lap to expect. Our first stops on, I suspect it'll be somewhere around 25 minutes into this one. No tyres needed, they'll just get fuel and get on their way. Luke Bergens has got himself an off track there. Just pushing to try and get past Schweikert. Schweikert still doing a ripping job. Just maintaining the gap. Look for Bergens to make a big push here down into the chicane. Schweikert will need to be aware of it. If he is, he can defend it. This means moving the car into the middle of the track there. He's not going to do it, and he's going to let Bergens through. Katsadonis is going to try and make his way through as well. He may get the job done down the inside. Yeah, he is going to as well. So, 2 positions dropped there for Schweikert. And it is now Bergens and Katsadonis up into 4th and 5th already. We are only approaching 10 minutes into this race. So that is a fantastic drive through the field by those two. Bergens just got to be a little careful as well. Now with Katsadonis behind him, he's going to have to keep an eye on what's going on in front and on what's coming behind him. So Bergens already making his way past Hayden Jackson. Katsadonis will hope to do the same thing as quickly as he can. Now the chase is on. Simon Nicholson still 5 seconds up the road in the XRC Racing BMW. Another really good livery as well, actually. Lada now under pressure. Bergens flashing the headlights. Looks like Dylan Bennett there just moves off the track. Oh, a big slide in the background there for Hayden Jackson. He's going around. He's going to be careful re-entering the track here. He's going to lose a lot of places. He's made a good re-entry there. And that's a shame for him. He's driving really well. So he's now got all to do in front of him as Luke Bergens makes his way past Simon Lata. Sam Lehman in pit lane. Tom Katsadonis now applying the pressure to Lata. Lots of headlight flashing going on in this so far. Cardelloni there, miles behind. I'm not sure why he's doing the flash, but just to probably let him know that he's on his way. I think they'll know as soon as he gets there as well. Essentially, obviously, maybe just resting on that button. Maybe sending a Morse code message. Slada tries to defend here. He's going to run foul. Not quite able to get the block done. Katsadonis up into 3rd in the full send racing liveried Porsche. So Nicholson still 5 seconds up the road here. Actually lapping at the same time as the guys behind him. So he's got a 4.5 second lead over Bergens. 5.5 over Katsadonis. So we'll look a little bit further back. Sam Thurtell and Martin Crisp are battling away. This is for 12th and 13th. And Thurtell just pulls out of that one there and lets Crisp go by. So we're not wanting to hold him up potentially, but racing is racing. It's a shame not to see them battle it out. Dennis Katarik currently sitting in 6th. He's up a whopping 12 positions as well. Currently trying to hook himself onto the tail of Matty Carleone, about 1.5 seconds up the track. $32 to go here in Auspass, the Americas. Running at the famous Road Atlanta, host of the Petit Le Mans race. There's a couple of drivers who are going through pit lane at the moment. Can't imagine that pitting this early is going to get them through to the end of the race. So we'll just monitor that situation with Dylan Bennett heading through pit lane. As we just see there. The move by Matty Carleone to move up into 4th. He got past Simon Larder there. Dennis Katarik as well, just putting the pressure on. So Dennis Katarik now off up the road. So things starting to normalise a little bit in the field here. Simon Nicholson still up in the lead, but his lead has been whittled down now to 2.8 seconds over Luke Bergens, who last lap around did put in the fastest lap of the race. So the gap's still being maintained here. Around 2 seconds still. So we just had some issues with the mic there, so I've just changed it over. Sorry about the period of peace. Seems to be my plague for 2020, to be brutally honest, is to have some sound issues on this one, but I think we're on the tail end of it. So still looking for these first round of pit stops to come through. Got a couple of drivers in pit lane now. Josh Perlin's jumped into pit lane on lap 1. In fact, so actually that is not very useful information. So we're still waiting on the top 10 to 11 cars to make their way down pit lane. Simon Nicholson still in the lead here. Gap is closing. Luke Bergens coming 1.5 seconds at the moment. Plenty of flashing headlights there for Bergens. So he tries to maintain the gaps. Lee Harrison's jumped into pit lane. Katsudona's still trying to make the way down, chase down Luke Bergens. Matty Cardleone is about 4.5 seconds behind. He's being pressured by Dennis Katarik still. They're in 4th and 5th. Martin Crisp and Daniel Webster having a battle of their own. Spaced out a little bit now, 3/4 of a second. In fact, the whole pack started to space out, spread out, space out, spread out, whatever you want to call it. So just, the pit stops will help sort a little bit of this out. Yeah, Matty Beveridge, thanks for joining the stream. Matty's had an up and down night so far. He's been in the lead of the race for points of the race. But he's done a stellar effort so far, up 10 spots from his starting position in the reverse grid race. Under pressure at the moment from Dennis Katarik, so he will certainly want to be keeping the elbows out. Haven't been through our first round of pit stops yet. Expecting that to happen in around about the next 3 or so minutes. For those doing the single stop. Heavy defending there, making his way around. So Justin Schweikert had an off. Gap now open up a little bit to Guitaric there with him running a little bit wide, and Luke Bergens has now assumed the lead of the race. He's now going to make his way up onto the back of Katsudonis. If he can do it, 5 seconds. Certainly not too big a mountain to climb. In fact, Cartaleone last lap around was the fastest he has done, a 15.87. 2 tenths faster, nearly 3 tenths faster in fact than Katsudonis. So he can get it done. I'm really waiting to see these pit stops come through. I think pit lane entry might catch out a number of the drivers. Could see some drive-through penalties. It's not the way you want to see the race change complexion, but it's very much a possibility here with that downhill run into pit lane in the heat of competition. What we might do here is jump on board with Matty, jump in the car with him and get him to take us for a lap around this track from the driver's seat. Do remember as well, this is a fixed setup category, so all of the Porsches running the same setup, all the BMWs and all of the Corvettes. Every car of the same make, of course, running the same setup. So it comes down to the driver there. You can see 15.865, Matty Cartaleone's fastest lap. That was the last lap that he did around Road Atlanta. Get up over the sign, get through the middle there. Man, she's always going to make it out on the outside. Simon Nicholson's into pit lane. So we're expecting to see this be the time I expected it probably a couple of minutes ago. On the limiter there, down in a second. Grab a little bit of the dirt there and get underway for the run down through the S's. This is a great piece of track. Don't want to clip too much of that curb there. Get it turned in, get on the gas again. Use that outer edge curve to try and hold the car on the track. Bergens with the fastest second sector. Lead guys all running now down in the sub 116s. Low tanks assisting them in doing that. So we're expecting a flurry of activity into pit lane. We're now jumping on board with Luke Bergens, seeing if he's going to actually run through the lane himself this lap. And he is indeed. So watch the start here. You see them pull up, trying to get the car stopped. There's the cones there. So good job from Bergens to get that done. Cartaleone going around again. Katsudonis the same. So they want these laps to be as quick as they can be to try and address some of that gap while Bergens is in pit lane. Keep an eye on the stationary time for Bergens. 7, 8 seconds, 9 seconds. He's the first of our top 10 to jump into pit lane, actually. So, pioneer, potentially, you might call it. Thanks for the tour around Road Atlanta, Matty. So as Luke Bergens is out of pit lane, 43.6 transition time with a 14.7 stationary. Interesting that Simon Nicholson, who pitted 1 lap earlier than Luke Bergens, has actually taken on less fuel. Now he is in the BMW, which is a little more fuel effective, or fuel efficient I should say, than the Porsche. As Tom Katsadonis jumps into pit lane now. Out of the lead, Matty Cartaglione the same. He's got to get the car pulled up, does get it pulled up into pit lane. He's got Dennis Gatarik right behind him. Simon Lada is into pit lane too. And he's got that pulled up. So no drive-through penalties for them. Looking for Luke Bergens. Where's he at the moment? He is coming across the top of the hill. He will resume the lead, albeit Katsadonis is heading out of pit lane as we speak. How far down pit lane is he? Not far enough. Bergens going to go past him. But it is going to be on at the front. So we've got Bergens, Katsadonis, Nicholson. And it's Gatarik, Matty Cartaglione on their way out of pit lane. And then Josh Perwin, after that early setback, he is going to have to pit again. So that will drop him further back down the order. Got 15 to go here in round 1, or race 1 of leg 2 of Auspass. We're into the Americas. As dusk very much set in here, albeit this track is used for longer format racing. It is not lit in the sense that you see at Sebring, which is purposefully set up for long format racing. So it'll start to get a little harder to see apexes, brake markers, etc. So don't be too surprised if there are some mistakes late on in the race. Katsadonis there, 2.5 seconds back down the road from Bergens. Not too far as the view is. It's certainly a big enough gap at the moment. Similar lap times for those two. Simon Nicholson now in third in that BMW, getting the about 1 second advantage of the refuel on that one. He's got Dennis Gatarik trying to hunt him down, 4.5 seconds further down the road. And then it's Matty Cartaglione behind him, 1.2 seconds, so that gap is close. I'm going to jump a little bit further back down the field. Sam Lehman and Lee Harrison fighting it out for 10th and 11th. I just got a little notification there I had to check out of Katsadonis and Bergens passing one another. Not so sure about that though. The gap there too big for that to be an accurate alert, so apologies for that. We'll jump back further again. BJ Kennedy and Gordon Irons. Welcome again to the series, Gordon. It's currently the battle for 12th and 13th. Just half a second between them. So we'll see run down the straight here between the two Big Bertha M8 BMWs. How much benefit they're going to get from the draft. The lights really ablaze now as we ascend or even descend into darkness. Got one car in pit lane at the moment. Jeff Wang, I believe he may have had an incident which has caused that to be required. Dennis Gatarik still maintaining the gap over Matty Cartaglione of about 1.8 seconds as Lehman and Harrison still fight it out. See here, too wide. going over to the back of the track. A lot of smoke off in the distance there as well. Let's see, we'll pick up who that was. Oh, that is a blown motor. That's a big accident Hayden Jackson has had there. There's a ton of smoke coming out of the back of that Porsche. That will not make it to the end of the race. And that'll be night over for Hayden. I can just hear it go bang in the background there. It's Lehman and Harrison. It's a good thing about this series. It's a battle for 10th and 11th position. So we're just on 35 minutes, or coming up to 35 minutes into this race. And the guys still battling hard for 10th and 11th. Sam a little bit out of shape there. Just trying to avoid the traffic in front of him. Managing to gather it back up again in the 93 Sim Sport, holding 93 Sim Sport, 93 PC sponsored car. Able to defend here as well, looking for the switchback. Harrison, is he able to get it done? Oh, he's alongside him as we head down onto the back straight. He's going to be able to pull him behind him, get the benefit of the draft. Should be able to try and put a move on here down into the last chicane. See if he can get close enough. Kvyat not just able to keep up in the straight line as much, will make as much of the draft. This one's just stabilised a little bit, half a second now between them. Jump back on board with our race leader, Luke Bergens, 2.5 seconds over Katsudonis at the moment. Lap times just about on par with one another. So after this one, we're actually heading to Circuit Gilles-Villeneuve in Canada. And then off to Long Beach for our first look. It's on the 22nd of December. 29th of December, Daytona International Speedway, the road course version. To follow on from that one, 7 laps to go here. Could be Luke Bergens taking out the main race win after a third in the earlier reverse grid race. Sorry, this is the reverse grid race. My apologies, in the earlier standard race. Felt a bit like a reverse grid race for Luke because he had to come from 10 or 11 spots down early in the race to get onto the grid. Nicholson here doing a good job maintaining third position. Dennis Katarik just ever so slightly creeping up on him. Lehman and Harrison continue to battle it out. Sam, oh, he's lost it there. It's a big crash. He's on the roof halfway down the straight here. And he's had to eject. It's a bit of a surprise for some of the other drivers coming through there. And that is an absolute shame for Sam Lehman. Just got a little bit loose and got punished by the wall. He'll be very frustrated with himself there after such a strong drive. Sam Lehman gets back into pit lane there. So this is Kennedy and Irons still battling for 12th and 13th. What battle it is. Closing up still. We're keeping an eye on this one here is Nicholson. Dennis Katarik closed up half a second on that last lap around. So the gap now between the two down to just on 1.5 seconds. Luke Bergens firmly in control of this one. 8 seconds up the road. Plenty of light flashing going on again. Tarek just letting Nicholson know that he's there. And coming, particularly as the gap closes. Only got just under 5 minutes to go. So we will get another 4 laps in, I would say, at this stage. Bring this one to an end. That was close there. Dylan Bennett just having an off. Almost right in front of Nicholson. Managing to avoid the incident. So the gap's still closing here. Katarik closing in. He's going to get potentially within draft distance on this lap. So with only a couple of laps to go, the battle for third on the podium is very much alive. Dennis Katarik's just made steady progress in the Porsche up to the back of Simon Nicholson in the BMW. So catching him to one thing, getting past is another. You can see there that gap now down well and truly to within touching distance. He's in the draft as we head up the back straight. Having a look out the back of Nicholson's BMW just to see how much he closes up here. Head across the crest Down in towards the braking zone of the chicane. He's not going to be close enough to get the job done now. Closes right up into the chicane though. You fear that there's going to be an opportunity for a move to be put on at some stage in the next 2 laps. So it's all to Nicholson to defend. It's all for Gitarik to take. Sam Lehman back out on track after that rollover. Get through the S's. Running out wide for the run. The second half of the circuit. Watch out here through the horseshoe, and now down onto the back straight. This is where the challenge will come. Nicholson will be aware of it. He's got to just position the car towards the middle of the track to defend down into the chicane and watch for the switchback. He's got the car positioned really well. He's going to make him do all the work. Porsche not going to be able to get the job done this lap. Sacrifice a little bit of time there. And off we go for what will be the final lap of the race. And just to make sure everyone understands, Luke Bergens just smashes out a 15.5 on the last time around. So he is just widening the gap to Katsudonis in second. But this is the battle that we're focused on now. This is the battle for third. Oh no, there's a mistake there from Gitarik. He grabs a brake. Going up into the first part. Down through the S's now, and that will seal it for Simon Nicholson. He will hold out this, you'd imagine, and make sure that he secures third position here. So we're on board with Bergens. 11 seconds to go. This will conclude the race with the final lap. Bergens brings it through the chicane for the final time, up over the crest of the hill. He'll get the headlights going, no doubt, and celebrate a great drive. In fact, a really strong performance from him throughout the night. Finishing in the dark here. It is going to be Bergens from Katsudonis, and Simon Nicholson will take out third position. Dennis Gitarik fourth, and Matty Cartaglione rounding out our top 5 for the night. A really, really great race. Both races, in fact, full of plenty of action. So having a look here. This is still the results from the first race, so let's put that one away for the moment. And wait for that to finish up. Getting some fireworks from the guys. So that sounded a bit diabolical, whatever that was. Bumps and bashes as the guys make their way around to complete. It's been a really good night of racing. Never seems to disappoint Road Atlanta. Just the nature of the course always throws up some surprises. But it is Luke Bergens, Tom Katsudonis and Simon Nicholson who take away the result here. Nicholson with a good run in that BMW as well. So just a reminder, we've got we're heading off to Canada next round, which is going to be a good one as well. Tight hairpin at that circuit. And of course, no doubt some catastrophe. It always does. As, Luke Bergens jumps into the combox with us. Luke, congratulations on 2 great drives, actually, with the early impact in race 1, meaning you had to drive back onto the podium, and obviously a back of field to front of field in the feature race.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, that first race was a little bit interesting. Just pushed a little bit too hard, too early, and off I went. But luckily, I didn't have too much damage and made my way back through, which is pretty good. And then, yeah, that feature race, just try to get a good, clean start. You know, try to get up the front as much as I could, and then, yeah, just be consistent and go from there.
We were sort of looking throughout the field, and then within a blink of an eye, you were up into 9th position, making your way up through the top 9 drivers. So you certainly got up very, very quickly early on, which is the key here. It can be easy to get caught up, particularly on those first couple of laps when it's congested. So that worked in your favour.
Yeah, for sure. And being such a tight and twisty track, you know, track positions are pretty key around here. So I did notice that they were fairly cautious at the start, and I just picked my spots and managed to get through them pretty quickly. And yeah, it all worked out in the end.
And second last lap of the race, just to make sure, just popped in a 15.5 to make sure you can maintain the gap and got your way home as well, just for good measure. So a solid performance tonight, and obviously first race of the American leg, or the America's leg. Good to get the win on the board. Looking forward to Long Beach coming up on the 22nd of December.
Yeah, that'll be pretty exciting. It's been a long wait for that track, so I'm sure everyone's looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be a good run as well. And we've got Tom Katsadonis and Simon Nicholson in the box as well. Tom, congratulations on second place. A good run for you, plenty of support in the viewers as well.
Yeah, cheers, Stu. Yeah, it was a good one tonight. Probably the best drive, most error-free drive of the season so far for me. The first race, obviously, happy to pick up the win. But that was only ever going to happen off of the back of Luke making a mistake, which luckily he did, because his pace today was just unreal. In the second race, I knew basically that all I could do was more or less follow him through the traffic, and that's what I tried to do, and then just have a go at him at the end. But he was just far too quick through the final chicane, which is where he kept running away from me. And yeah, like you said, that second to last lap was just blazing fast. But probably maximized what I could have got today, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it can be challenging coming through the traffic, but you guys did a good job, joined as well by Dennis Skatarek, who was also hot on the heels of Matty Cartaglione as well, doing a ripping job at moving themselves up. And Simon Nicholson as well, a ripping job for you. At one stage there, up 11 or 12 spots from your start in the reverse race, and then ending up managing to come home third in the fuel conservative BMW as well.
Yeah, it was a good race. The start was pretty chaotic and trying to get through all the cars flying off everywhere, but yeah, it was good. I don't know, maybe I copped some underbody damage or something through the race sometime. I just couldn't defend in a straight line when the guys were behind me in the tow. So yeah, that was a big disadvantage, I think, but yeah.
Yeah, the Porsche definitely looked a little stronger through the S's here against the BMW. Of course, the BMW being a fairly or a bigger car than the Porsche is, generally tends to struggle when it needs to be a little more nimble. But straight line speed generally not the issue. So probably the case indeed. Did you find it through the S's there? You got a little wide and maybe ran over the exit curbing and copped it after that?
Yeah, possibly. There was a couple of times I ran over curbs where, like you said, if you didn't get the entry line right, it was no getting it back after that, just too heavy to pull the car through. So you just had to go with where the car wanted to take you. So.
And we head next week to Canada to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the next race, which is going to be a challenge if we have a full grid, particularly the start there, a very, very narrow circuit as you head through sort of the first half down into the hairpin. It's going to be a handful to get the BMW around there. Have you spent much time at that track?
No, I haven't. So obviously, it was a bit of a rush decision for me to pick the Beamer today. I just signed up to the league a couple of hours before, and mainly I was testing with the Porsche on this track, and I found it very hard to brake, but probably needed more time with it. But no, I'll do some practice for the next track and hopefully improve.
Should be strong as well at Daytona when we get there for the last round of the Americas run too. So as always, Luke, just while we've still got you, mate, anyone that you want to thank? And I must ask as well, mate, where's the rest of the team tonight?
I think the boys are a bit busy. I think Jack and Glenn are working, and I think Cooper's got other commitments.
Other commitments. No, fair enough.
Yeah.
Repping for the team. Obviously, probably a shopping list full of people you want to thank.
Yeah, so of course, just a massive thank you to HM Engineering, all their partners that are on board, Matt and Sam for doing the best they can for this league, and you for bringing everyone the action.
No dramas at all. Always love the cursory thanks at the end there. I very much appreciate it. Tom, yourself, mate.
Yeah, Stu, as always, my team, Full Send Racing, and our primary sponsor, Frozen Speed Motorsport Photography. My team manager, Steen, for organising everything and making all the cogs turn in the background. And all my friends who watch and support, First Lady Isla as well. And yeah.
Got to say as well, the livery looking very on point there tonight, Tom, as well. Looking really good on the Porsche. Simon, yourself, mate, anyone that you want to thank?
The XRC team, great team to run with and work with. Track Racer Rigs, Simcore, RC Maker, and yeah, all the guys that are watching, and you guys for hosting the series and streaming it and stuff.
We'll certainly keep punching with the BMW. We're big fans of the minority cars here on FGM ECast. Have been since the first season that we ran this, so looking forward to seeing how the BMW goes next week, and in fact how everyone goes. Those Corvettes too, looking at impressively easy to drive, but maybe a little bit slow in a straight line as well, so looking to see how that gets adjusted for next round. Thanks for joining us, guys, in the combox. We'll let you go so you can go and do what you need to do. And from us, that's about it for us for this evening. We are on again at the very latest next Sunday evening when we jump back on with the V8 Supercar Oval Series, and brought to you there by Activity Hub Bali. Looking forward to getting back with that one. And there will be some other streaming from us throughout the week, as there always is on FGM ECast, your e-place for pace. So that does bring our show to a close tonight. Thank you to all those who joined in. The chat was, as always, good, and we appreciate the support. And from us, that is a good night, and we will catch you later in the week.